Hello, I went out for hiking at the nearby nature trail in Colorado Plains on 4th of July. It was very muggy and a hot day, but I could find many wild flowers that I never knew before. And it's amazing that I still find a new species, for example, to identify. On this day, I have like a 3 or 4 species that I never seen before. Although I lived here for a while in Colorado, I never pay attention, even though I am a white, flowers enthusiast. And this is one of the flowers I never seen before. And but maybe I kind of dismiss it. Oh, there's another yellow flowers. And but it's called opposite leaf bahia. And it's tiny statues. It's about maybe 5 inches. It's not even a foot. It's very tiny statues. But it's colored all the area when they're blooming. It's with tinted yellow colors, and it's wow. It's amazing that I never noticed before, probably, or I never seen it before, I would say. But here it's abundantly blooming on this heat of summer day. And yeah, this and goldweed is two major yellow flowers blooming on that day. And yeah, if you are casual walkers or hikers, you don't notice at all. And this is one flowers that I never knew before. Only a couple of weeks ago, I found the name of this, and I thought I never seen this one before, but now I know what it is. Purple flowers, ground cherry. And this is the euphorbia species, one of them. And I think this is a toothed spurge, dentata, even though the leaves is not as toothed as much. But I think this is the one there, toothed. And this is another spurge, leafy spurge. This is more common to see, and it's very pretty. The yellow tinted flowers, and I don't see them that often, but yeah, you can see here and there. And another flowers I had never seen before on this day, is the moth murrain. And it took some time to find the name of this, but it's a murrain, I would say. And yeah, it's like a statuesque tall stalk coming out, and it's a yellow flowers. Yeah, it is interesting to notice this type of thing. Also, even though you're interested, you really have to pay attention to what you're looking at. Otherwise, you kind of dismiss, oh, it's another yellow flowers, which is not that significant beauty there, but still, if you're really interested into identify, yeah, it is exciting to find the stuff like this. And this is more common, murrain, common murrain, actually, the name of it. And this is very, very statuesque. It's probably 6 or 7 feet, probably the height. Very healthy looking moraine here. Yeah. And this is the St. John's wort. Also, this is not a native the plants here, but I could see here and there the clump of it. And when it's bloomed, it's kind of messy, but it's kind of pretty too. And your eyes, could go there very easily. Yeah, but you don't see them that much. But it's it's blooming like this among this bindweed infested area, and also curly dock infested area. Most major weeds here is curly dock and bindweeds. This is Rocky Mountain bee plant, Cleome, and I did see much more statuesque, much more bigger plant elsewhere in Colorado. This is a little bit like a isolated and weak growth looking Cleome here. This is the most common, the most striking wildflowers I could find here. This is the native wildflowers. It's called golden crown beard or goldweed or cowpen daisy, Barbicina ensilioides. And this is euphorbia, another euphorbia, snow on the mountain. You can see they're here and there. Again, this is a goldweed. And this is a daisy, which is, I think, the leaves are very, very serrated, like a fern-like leaves, very common. And this particular one in the forefront, and I couldn't identify that one there. This is one of the most common thistle, mask thistle. This is also coming from Europe somewhere, and it's everywhere. And I think it's an invasive, wildflowers here. But nonetheless, it's very, very pretty. And this is the tumble mustard, tumble mustard. And after leaves and flowers are finished in the early spring, it becomes like this no leaf, the stalks remain like a skeleton weed. And this is Scotch thistle, another thistle which is probably imported from Europe. And it's statuesque. Again, this is about 7 feet high, and very, very thorny stems coming up all the way to the top where the flowers are. And this is again the cowpen daisy, goldweed. This is very, very strikingly yellow flowers blooming. Here and there, the clump. So, yeah. I only noticed these flowers only a couple of years ago. So, yeah, it's interesting. This is, of course, Canada thistle. This is very common in the field like this. And also, if you have a garden, this is a continuous threat to the garden because the roots, goes underneath and it just spread. Musk thistle behind it. Musk thistle is much more prettier. And this is a buffalo bar, and this is like a nightshade family, and yeah, it looks very spiky seed head. Relatively common here, commonly seen, but it's localized here and there. This is a purple-flowered ground cherry, and this is a species I just found only a couple weeks ago or so. This is the Missouri goldenrod. I think this is correct identification. Statue is very, very tiny, but the flowers are pretty, very showy goldenrod. This is the Heterotheca villosa, which is, again, I only found this is only 2 or 3 years ago, and I kind of didn't bother before because there's all yellow flowers everywhere. But since I found this, since I identified this, there's a couple of species. Probably I couldn't, determine which is which, but I think this is villosa. This is the Artemisia species. This is another goldenrod which is not opened yet. And this is, I found, a little bit higher, so this could be a different species, the Missouri goldenrod. This is a licorice. This is another one that I couldn't identify this particular flowers. I couldn't find in the book. Yeah. And this is called the sulfur cinquefoil. It's like maybe 2 feet height, and the color of the flowers are a little bit cream yellow. It's not like a strong yellow of the other cinquefoil, and very pretty. I would say I like this one. On this sunny day that I couldn't find any shady area for a long time to have my lunch, but finally I found this spot where the shady and the picnic table there. So I'm glad. And so I sat down and have lunch and a nice green tea. This is Oyocha. Okay, so this is flowers, the first flowers that I showed you. And yeah, this is very, very common here in this area. This is another carpet daisy rampant, and another one there, very short statued yellow flowers. Those 2 yellow flowers are very representative of this particular area. I see a lot of bicyclists zooming in and out here on this trail because it's a very, very nice trail for bicycle. And I don't know how many people are, paying attention to the wildflowers here, what kind of flowers. Walkers are slowly walking, so they could see the flowers. But the bicyclists, I'm not sure how many, they just recognize the color, but that's enough for them, because I see many, many bicyclists going by and never stops. Of course, they don't stop because that's the activity of bicycling. Prickly poppy, common some area, but not all that common in another area. And this is very kind of a secretive center. Is there like the red spot in this yellow center? And I feel like, wow, maybe I shouldn't watch. I shouldn't look. That's more like a secret or something. Or private area. Oh, this is milkweed, of course. This is very nice, beautiful. And this is a native as well. This is the grasses that you can see very commonly, this crested wheatgrass. And this is one of the grass you can identify easily because of the shape of this flower head, whatever. And it's a flat and, it's called crested. And yeah, it's very, very common in the prairie like this. And this is another grass, very, very common. And the leaves are very, very the bluish green. And that's one thing that you noticed. And it's called western wheatgrass. Very beautiful grass, I would say. Also, I noticed this particular species has a different height. And I think that's a different species there. But I think this is the western wheatgrass. And this is a common rye grass. And I couldn't tell this is a wheat or not. But yeah, very similar. But it's beautiful here, growing like this. And, I remember the movie called Days of Heaven. And they showed the real wheat grown in the field for harvesting, but it shows all the flower heads coming up and with the wind is blowing and everything. That reminds me of that particular movie. Yeah, so it is interesting to see this, 4th of July day, very hot summer day. And I'm glad that I had opportunity to walk here. Walk 2 or 3 hours, or maybe 4 hours, 5 hours probably, back and forth.